All righty. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Witness to History this Sunday. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Witness to History this Sunday, June 8th, 2025.
Already, years fine.
Yes. We might have had a rainy day today in Cleveland, but we can finally say it feels like summer. Finally.
That's true.
Yes. I'm Donna White, along with John Dutton, your co-host on Witness to History. For those who might not have been with us on Witness to History, as you can see, we have been at this for a little while. Actually, we're coming up on our 5th anniversary. And as we every month have this pleasure of scrolling pictures of all of the people who have interviewed with us since July of 2025, it's a pleasure once again to be able to add Eugene and Amy Williams pictures to our collage.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? And
Wow.
so July 2025 will be our 5th year that we have actually been doing Witness to History. So for people who don't know what Witness to History is, it all came about in a conversation I had with Kevin Kay back in the spring of 2020. And people know what was happening in 2020. And Witness to History was born. So a way for us to get together in the Moreland community of Shaker Heights. And this evening, we have the pleasure of having our guests, Eugene and Amy Williams. Hello.
Everybody.
Hello. Thank you for being with us. And Amy, I have to say, I went back and I said, okay, you've been on Witness to History before with your mother, Alice Brooks. And I had to see when that was. I don't know. I should ask you, do you remember when that was, Amy?
I want to say that it was in 20, it was before you started recording them. So
No, we recorded them.
I was recording. Okay, so it was about 2022, 23.
It
No?
was August 2021.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
August 2021. I cheated. I looked before we came on this evening. I said, wow, that was 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. Thank you all so much for being with us. But I want to thank, the special people who are with us today. It's very important for me to thank Kevin and to thank Megan Hayes, because as we began Witness to History in 2020, Megan had the idea to put the interviews on the Shaker Public Library site. And so that's why I know exactly when, you were here with us before, Amy. And so we have all of the interviews listed. Most of them are posted. So if people want to go back and look at those, then they're welcome to forever, forever. And I want to thank Theo Darden too for keeping people informed about Witness to History. But I can't thank John Dutton enough. My partner there could not happen at all, not at all. And so we're here for as long as people are willing to be our guests. And I want to thank you again, Eugene and Amy. You all have just an amazing Moreland Shaker Heights story. And your pictures are going to tell the story, but I want you all just to, tell the story as well. So Amy, I want to start off with you and, tell us a little bit about when your family moved into the Moreland area and when you happened to, your connection with Moreland, the Moreland community.
My family moved in Moreland in 1965.
Mm.
At that time, Pennington Road was the pilot street for Blacks to be able to move on. And so our family was the 5th Black family to move on Pennington. So I've been there since, I tell you, I've been there since zero.
Since before zero. Yes.
Significance of zero.
Yes.
So my siblings and I all went through Moreland, Woodbury, and the high school. My children went through elementary school, one went to Mercer, and the other two went through Lomond.
Mm-hmm.
My son, we moved and then came back to Shaker.
Oh,
So,
okay.
well, my son didn't go to the elementary school, but they went through junior high and the high school. Well, I take that back. My son was in fifth grade when we moved back, so he went through Woodbury junior high.
Okay. When it was middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, he went through when it was fifth and sixth grade.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I get that mixed up. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't
Right.
ask me.
So, but they all went through Shaker School District. They all graduated. My oldest came out in 2010. My son came out in 2012, and my twin girls came out in 2017.
Okay. Okay.
So, Shaker has been near and dear to my heart for a long time.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. It's unusual. Of course, when I ask that question, when people move to Moreland, it's unusual for people's parents to have moved here. And
Mhm.
then you were born and here you were in the neighborhood. So you were here all along. So
Yes,
throughout your education, you lived on Pennington?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Nice. Hey,
K through
Eugene.
12. My
Eugene.
parents decided to move right when I graduated high school, maybe a year after I graduated high school, they moved up on Fairmount. They bought another house on Fairmount.
Okay, but
But they
still
had all of us, it's seven of us. They had all of us in that house.
okay.
On Pennington. So,
Okay. And when you said when you graduated, they moved.
about a year, let me see, maybe 90 or 91.
Okay.
Moved.
Okay. Now, if there's seven of you, where are you in the order
I'm
of
the,
the children?
I'm the baby and the only girl. I have six older brothers.
Okay. All right. How special.
It was hard.
How special. Well, Eugene, tell
Yeah.
us about your shaker story.
Um,
Began.
Mine began in eighth grade. My mom is she's a real estate lady, a retired real estate lady. She purchased her first home in the Shaker Square area
Mhm.
of Shaker Heights. The street now is called Cheshire, but back then it was 130th Street. It was one of two streets in Shaker Heights with a number
Hmm.
associated with the street name. They have since changed that number, but
Interesting.
I came in the eighth grade, graduated in '89 with Amy. My grandfather, who's also a real estate person, moved on Van Aken in I want to say the late '60s,
Hmm.
but I think it may have been a little bit before that, mid to late '60s.
Okay.
So my uncles also graduated from Shaker in the early '80s, and my mom was in private school. So
Okay. So long history here in Shaker Heights.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting, thick Shaker Heights history there.
Yes. Okay. So you all, Woodbury
hmm
is when you all met.
That's
Let's
right.
go back and talk about that. Were you in class together? I mean, what did you eat lunch together? I mean, what was it about? You met in
We
the
so
That's a long time ago.
I always tell
well.
this story. So we met in eighth grade. Like I said, we had a couple classes together, maybe in junior high.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, we had some classes together. Yeah, we of course was at lunch together. And he would come to some of the sporting events. I played volleyball and basketball, and he played football, and I was also a cheerleader. Woodbury, you could do the different sports.
Oh,
Um, so I mean, we talked. He tried to talk to me, tried to date me in junior high and high school, but I wasn't having that.
okay.
Um,
She wouldn't listen.
and so here we are today.
Eventually, yeah.
I finally got through to her.
Okay, all right. You're persistent,
Persistence,
huh? You
consistency,
knew back then.
perseverance. It
You
took a
knew back.
long time. That was a lot of work. Years.
Well, never say never, huh?
That's right.
It happened. So you all got married. Tell us about when you came back together. Well, tell us a little bit. So it didn't happen right after high school.
No, we went our separate ways. I got married. He got married to someone, and then in 2012 we reconnected. We had
Okay.
seen each other out a few times prior to that, maybe, but 2012 is when was out somewhere and saw each other and exchanged numbers, and that's sort of where it began, where it picked up from.
All right.
Finally got through. They say the first one is always counterfeit.
Okay.
Second one. It's the second one is number 2 that sticks like glue. They say the first one is always counterfeit. Have you ever heard that?
No, that's
Well,
good.
I need to say I need that associated with something uplifting and positive.
Yes. Well, it's
Yeah, we
recorded.
got married in 2016, and it's been a whirlwind of blessings ever since. So it's been this constant ascension
All right.
into being a blessing to everybody, to each other first and foremost, and to everybody associated with us.
What a wonderful testimony.
This is really just the tip of the iceberg, and then there's so much more to come because we have so many plans, so much stuff that's yet to be disclosed, that's yet to happen. But as we saw earlier, our latest accomplishment has been the acquisition.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I need
Yeah,
to.
we'll get to
I'm
that.
sorry. We'll save that for later. I'm talking too
Well,
much.
let's start looking at some of your pictures.
I'm sorry.
Here you are.
There we go. That's our wedding day.
Yes.
I look kind of
October
heavy.
22nd, 2016.
Okay. Next year will be 10 years, huh?
Yes,
Yeah, we may do
10
that.
long years.
Ain't been that long.
9 long years. I always, every year I say, Lord, I'm just trying to get one more year.
Really?
Lord, I'm trying to get one more year. Just give me one. They always say the first 5 years are the hardest. And they were a little hard for us because Gene doesn't have any children, and I have children. Gene doesn't have any biological children, and I have children. And so us coming together was we had to learn each other, and then the kids had to get used to a man being around the house again. So it was a difference, but we made it.
Yes, you have. Well, take us through your journey. You have done, and I can just share with everybody, this is really a love story. And all that you all have done together. So take us through your story. It's our next slide coming up.
So this is us every year we give back and go to the Red and White Affair. This was this past March at the Agora. I can speak for me. I love Shaker. Shaker is a big part of where I am today. And so I try and give back as much as I can.
You still have family who lives in Shaker? Your
I
mother?
do. My mother still resides in Shaker. She's 98 years old. They live at Library. Her and my brother one of my brothers live at Library Court Apartments. She's still getting around on her own. She's I finally convinced her that we're going to get her a hearing aid. So that should be coming up, and I'm excited about that.
That's wonderful.
Because she swears she can hear, but you're yelling, and she's like, "Oh yeah, what?" So, but yes, that's my blessing, and without her, I don't know where I would be at. But yeah, so she still lives here, and then my daughter, one of my daughters, and two of my grandkids still attend Shaker schools. Also, they're at Lomond and the middle school now. So 5th and 6th grade. No, 5th and
that in
7th
itself,
grade.
The Shakers, the generations of families, who have raised their children in Shaker doesn't always and we know a lot of people who left and came back. They left and they did their thing, went to college, whatever, or married and were someplace else and came back to to Shaker. Not just Cleveland, but back to Shaker. And so that's a story unto itself. And I know that just in terms of the red and white, people don't necessarily still have to have children in the school district to, support the, Cleveland, listen to me, the Shaker Foundation. Shaker Foundation. They do wonderful work. Thank you. Take us through some of your other photos.
The one on with the, what's that color? Salmon, and I have the white dress on.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the Alpha Omega, I think, Kentucky Derby fundraiser at the Cleveland Browns stadium. That was a few years ago. The other is us. I'm a part of National Council of Negro Women, NCNW, and we had a convention this past October, last October, and this was our gala night at the Baltimore Convention Center.
Baltimore. And when you said Alpha Omega, I was going to, kind of backtrack a little bit. And because I remember, Eugene, you were telling me that you finished school in Akron, but that's not where you started?
No, I started at Hampton University.
Hampton.
In Hampton, Virginia.
I was just at an alumni event this afternoon.
Yeah, I need to catch up with those folks and start attending some of those events.
Yes, comes up every June.
Yes.
So what is your background? You finished up your degree in what?
Management Information Systems and Entrepreneurship. I build web and mobile applications, and I'm also a realtor. I've helped start several local businesses in various sectors, from automotive to real estate to healthcare, nonprofit. So I have a heart and a nose for entrepreneurship and business opportunities, if you will. I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather, he's over 90 years old. We can't get him to stop working. He still lives on Van Aken with my step grandmother. He's an entrepreneur, and it's pretty much just in my blood. It's coursing my veins. So
wonderful.
I share that with everybody that I can.
People don't stop, people don't stop working.
Right.
We have to redefine that whole word retirement.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I mean, it's like you just leave one place and you live out your purpose in other ways. That's basically what it is. People don't necessarily want to stop working. But you told me also, Eugene, that you turned down an opportunity after you finished Shaker.
You're talking about the unseen, unheard of, well, not unheard of, but unseen familial pressure to pursue a certain degree or pursue a certain avenue in life. And in my heart, I really did want to go to art school, kind of, but that artistic bug that was in me never went away. It hasn't gone anywhere. But I was offered a scholarship to the Cleveland Institute of Art, but instead I went to B school. Mr. Brown, he was my art teacher, Malcolm Brown, a known Shaker Heights art teacher. On an art gallery right there on Chagrin, right before you got the Warrensville Center, and or Warrensville Center, and Chagrin and Farnsley.
Right.
He asked me in the calmest voice, "You want an art scholarship? I can get you an art scholarship." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." He got it anyway, and I didn't take it. But in retrospect, I should have taken it. But nevertheless, that creativity has not gone anywhere. So it's kind of ironic in a way.
It doesn't go away. Actually, you told me you were going to pull a canvas out.
Yeah. I wanted her to forget about that.
You let that slip out. So, Amy,
and splatter some paint all over the garage.
It's not happening.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. That's for sure.
When is the next girls' trip?
Well, let's see what the next slide is we have coming up. Okay. When John and I were looking at this, we were like, "Are they at the Rock Hall?" Okay, tell us about who you all are and where you are.
The white picture is behind the courthouse, right?
Yes, that's behind not the courthouse, behind no, City Hall is in the background. So that is the courthouse. Yeah.
So we did dinner on Blanc.
Yes.
And they never tell you, you meet up someplace and then you walk to where you're supposed to set up and have your dinner and everything. So we didn't know where we were going. But this
Was
picture
this
is,
last year?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. You're going to do it again this year?
I'm not sure.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
But
Very
it was
nice
a
time.
Okay.
great time.
Long walk, but very nice
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So a lot of preparation for that.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes.
So, but
And
we had a good time. We saw a lot of different people, and it was good to see everybody in their white,
mhm.
having a good time. Didn't matter race or color or anything. It was a great time. It was people from all over. Some people dressed up, and some people dressed casual, and some people just came. So,
And share with everybody. People may not know what this. I mean, when I first heard it, I was like, I'm not sure I understand this concept. But share with people what the event is, or where did it originate?
I believe it originated, and this was told to me by I really can't document the source, but it was the person told me that it started in France
Hmm.
because there was a guy, I can't recall his name. He wanted to have a party a certain kind of way with a certain kind of food, and they had all of these constraints with regard to how he could have this gathering.
Hmm.
And it morphed into this dinner en blanc being a worldwide kind of thing. It did not start in the United States. It started overseas. I want to say France. And sometimes the guy that originated will show up. But
Mhm.
they do it in almost every major city in the
Mhm.
United States. And it originated from something involving this guy wanting to have a picnic with a couple of his friends. And there
Hmm.
were some issues with this guy having a picnic, and he circumvented those issues. And in creating his own way, this dinner en blanc is what the result is.
Hundreds of people.
so you have to be invited. You can't just show up. You have to be invited by someone. So we were invited by one of our school friends,
Okay.
and they give you a list. And the list consists of what size table, what color chairs, tablecloth, what type of containers you can bring. You make your own meal, but it's a certain elegance that it has to have, and it has to fit everybody else's.
Right.
So if you come in and something's not right, they will not let you set up.
Oh wow.
So you have to follow their instructions to the T, or you may be sent out.
Yes, a
Wow.
specific protocol for
So
sure.
where did you end up going?
We were in the parking lot behind.
Oh, this was the destination.
This was the destination.
Oh, okay.
We met on,
Behind the library.
yeah.
On what's that, Euclid or Superior?
Right on
On
Superior.
Superior, yep.
Okay.
And then we
Okay.
walked over. So you have to put your stuff in a wagon, and then you walk over to the spot.
Hmm. I
So, and
see.
they have, so it's different sections. So they had like 4 or 5 different leaders, and each leader had a different section. So you saw everybody coming in white from different areas. Some people parked on Payne and had to walk over. Some people were on 30th. So everybody wasn't in the same spot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Might not be 30th, but just saying that everybody was in the same spot. And you had to walk a little bit of a distance. So you needed to have on your walking shoes.
Go ahead and fact check me on my background on that, because
Okay. Okay.
I'm not absolutely certain on everything that I gave.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
what
But I
that's
mean,
what I remember about what the person told me. So
yes. How about the photo on the left? Who are these people here who are
That
dressed
is,
that's Nino Brown and Yo-Yo. They were at Ohio Technical College for a Halloween party.
Okay, okay, nice,
We
nice.
should have won that. I think we got robbed. We should have won that contest.
Okay, you have to
They robbed us.
do it again, and come up with another costume. You all look
Yeah,
like you're
we'll
having
get them.
fun.
We'll get them next time.
All righty. What's our next slide?
Oh, this was our 8th anniversary last year, and
Mhm.
we were out with some of our married couples. These are some of our people that we travel with. We love
Nice.
to travel, so we have about
20 couples.
20 couples
Oh,
that we
my
travel
goodness.
with every year. And then we do stuff in state, in the city, locally rather. You know, when we could try and get together as much as we can locally, but we do
Okay.
travel at least once a year. We actually have a trip coming up in a couple weeks to Cancun, Mexico.
Oh, nice. Everybody's from Cleveland? Everybody's from this area?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
And that was at Pier West. No, I'm sorry, not Pier West.
That was Pier West.
No, it wasn't Pier West. It was the restaurant right by Edgewater Park when you come off Route 2. It's missing right now. The Lighthouse.
Oh, the Lighthouse.
Oh, Don's Lighthouse. Don's Lighthouse. Yeah, the place where you get good fish.
That's right.
Yeah, seafood.
Absolutely correct.
Nice. Well, that's nice. So do you travel every year?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least once a year?
Sometimes we travel with them twice a year. We try and travel at least every quarter. But with the group, we might travel. So we do one big trip together, and then if somebody else has something going on or want to do something, then a small group of us might get together and travel together. But it's a small group of us that's going to Cancun, Mexico, about 8 couples, I think.
Wow.
Everybody doesn't travel all the time, depends on their schedule. But everybody does do the one big trip a year.
Nice. You speak Spanish?
No, I need to learn it.
Poquito. Un poquito.
Un poquito, okay. I don't think you have to worry about that anyway.
Right.
But I do have a smartphone, so I get the translator, and that's how I talk when we go to different countries.
You can go all around the world, and just pull up, whatever you need to on the phone.
Modern technology.
Here. Nice.
This was one of our trips. This was our first couples trip with the group. We were in Jamaica. We did. We were in Negril, Jamaica.
That was so.
That's nice. Now, the fact that Jamaica is in this picture, the name of the island. Tell me how this picture was taken. Was it a professional photo or?
So the islanders will walk on the beach and ask you, "Hey, you want a picture? Come on, take a picture."
Nice.
So this was one of the ones that we took.
That's nice.
I don't. This was a professional photographer took this. We didn't just grab the because they have a bunch of props.
Sure.
And you could just grab the props and take your own photo, and we were grabbing stuff. I wasn't sure if this was one of them or not.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of, like I said, props, and we were just grabbing stuff and snapping photos. It was
probably wasn't supposed to be grabbing the stuff, but
well, it looks like a professional picture. That's why that's a nice picture.
This one was professional, but we do have some other ones now that he mentions that we took on our own. But again, we probably weren't supposed to be grabbing the
who knew? I didn't know.
Right. It was just sitting there.
Right.
All righty. So traveling. Go on.
I was talking to my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. What's our next slide?
This on the left is our 30th class reunion at Shaker. And the one on the right is our 35th class reunion.
Okay. 1989.
1989.
89.
So a big difference in the pictures, because look at your face on there.
Look like I lost weight though.
Yeah.
Well,
I lose weight though. I lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
I lost like 20 pounds.
Well, good for you, I guess. Did you do it on purpose?
Yes.
Okay, I need to
I had to change my diet up a little bit.
We can talk later. Okay.
Yeah, I did it. It was intentional.
Okay. Nice. This is nice. Just to, your story. Your story. You met at Woodbury. You went your separate ways. You come back together. This is a unique story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you graduated at the same time. It's not like one of you graduated one year and one the other. So you have so many of the same friends.
Exactly.
High school.
It's so true.
It's pretty much like we were in tune when we got back together, because like I said, when you go through the Shaker system back then, it was a village. So everybody knew your name and we knew what we had to do. Our teachers cared, our teachers loved us, and they poured into us and never said we couldn't be anything. They always said you can do whatever you put your mind to. So us coming back together was a little bit in sync, but it's a lot of our friends that have gone on and came back and married their high school sweetheart.
That's true.
Or hooked back up with somebody from Shaker. So I think it's just because we know.
There's that common
There's
thread.
something to be said about, having familiarity from your youth.
Right.
Certain things you don't have to guess.
Right.
A common thread and similar values, I think.
Absolutely. That's good. What's coming up next? Oh, we're going to get into, how the rest of the world sees you too. All righty. All righty.
So my mother and some others within the community always had us out doing community service. So that was instilled in me at an early age. So I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I don't do anything for any type of show or accolades. So I received the email, I think it was an email or a phone call that I had received the award on the left from the National Action Network for Humanitarian of the Year award.
Wow.
So it was a big surprise to me, but it was because they saw me doing stuff, and I didn't even know people was watching me, but I guess people watch you. And and so she started telling me the different things that I was doing behind the scene in the community, various communities. And so that's how I got that award. Then this year, I was chosen to be in the Call and Post for Women's History Month.
Nice. So why did people know what you were doing? Give us a little glimpse of the reason why you're getting this recognition.
Well, so I do a lot of work
and
with
Eugene, you can chime in if she misses anything. All right. Go right ahead.
I'm involved with a few different a sorority and a few different groups, and so I do a lot of community service at the food bank. I do community service at the bookstore for the kids on Payne Avenue. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
Then we did some distribution of food on 79th and Kinsman on cold, rainy day. I just do a lot. I'm very involved in my church. So when we go out and do different, we feed the homeless yearly. We feed, periodically throughout the year, we feed the homeless. But every year we go over on the west side and feed and clothe the homeless. They have like a dinner, so I always volunteer there.
Ultimately, the recognition comes from God. Somehow, some way, He just finds a way to put a spotlight on some of the activities that get done behind closed doors. Stuff that we're not the type to do stuff to be grandiose or do stuff to be seen by our peers or seen in public, but it's just interesting that
people watch you. So my parents used to always tell me, when you go out this door, you represent the gardener. So you better make sure you represent the gardener well. So
yes,
we know that God is watching. He is ultimately the one that's bringing all of the spotlight.
And you have more to tell us in terms of your involvement in your church and the things that you've been doing. What's our next slide?
Oh, this slide, we were at the NAACP gala last
holiday party.
No, it was a recognition party. One of our friends, Ramona Lowry Farrell, was recognized for the great work that she does throughout the community. And so she invited us, and so we went to support her.
Nice. Ramona is the director of Public Works here in Shaker. Shaker. Yes.
So Mona and I lived on the same street. We were probably about houses apart. So I've known Mona since
Okay.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ramona Pacey.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ramona.
Old school.
Yes, yes, I know her. Yes, for sure. That's nice. Yes, our next slide, please. Oh, here we go.
Don't make me cry.
A local
been crying
realtor is
all
turning
day.
his past struggles into purpose. After battling addiction, Gene Williams is now leading an AA group. He's helping others find their way to recovery. Here's our Lindsay Buckingham.
In the basement of Christian Kingdom Assembly Church,
I'm still kind of grieving.
Gene Williams is trying to be a light
How's your new year been so far?
for those struggling in the shadows of addiction.
And I just promised myself and I promised God that I was done drinking.
But his journey of redemption started with his own battle through the darkness.
Drinking and drugs was commonplace every weekend.
When he was only a teen,
And it just escalated. I got to college and it was, instead of every weekend, it was every day.
then 8 years ago, he hit rock bottom.
The transformational event was a DUI that sent me into the county jail for 30 days.
He's been sober ever since.
It was primarily AA meetings. I like to focus on one of the tenets of AA, and that means finding God of your own understanding.
That's what he found here at Christian Kingdom Assembly. Soon, he wanted to spread his message of faith and sobriety.
My pastor said, you know what, you should start a group, and that's what we did. So what are you doing to manage that extra stress?
For the past year and a half, Gene's been leading an AA group because he knows firsthand how addiction spares no one.
We tend to feel like we're alone, and we're not alone. There are other people with similar stories. We're a judgment-free zone. We'll just show you love.
Something that's helped him discover more than sobriety.
I choose not to drink because my life is better. Guess what? When I stopped drinking, I lost a bunch of friends.
Then through AA, he gained a community, one that supports all of life's wins, big or small.
We encourage each other. Keep going. And sometimes people slip. You slip. We're there to pick you back up. Keep going.
That's what he'll continue to do here, helping people to see what's possible.
You don't have to give up. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to listen to what anybody's saying. You can break away from all of the dead weight and do better for yourself.
Just as Gene did nearly a decade ago.
I'm proud of myself, so when I look back, I never would have thought. I never would have thought that I would be here like this. But here we are, and God's gonna make the best of it.
Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
Hey, Dutton, why you do me like that?
Wow, what a story. What a story.
It's
nice that they, shine the light on what it is that you've done and how you're helping so many other people.
Again, it's really been a labor in love for one, right? And then two, it's been about God really just putting a spotlight on it or putting a magnifying glass on it and saying, this is going on. This is what's happening. If you need help, this is what's happening. It's happening right here. Look, AA is anonymous. It's anonymous for a reason. One of the strategies is attraction and not marketing. One of the characteristics of bringing people in is by attraction, and that attraction is not only preaching it but actually living it. And today, that's what I do. That's it. I was at Founders Day yesterday. I couldn't go today. The creators of Alcoholics Anonymous, here's one to grow on, are from Akron, Ohio.
Mm. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
Founders Day, you have anywhere from 250,000 to some years upwards of 1 million people from all over the world from Asia, China, Africa, London, all in Akron, celebrating, hollering about the Friends of Bob. I was there yesterday for the first time. So that part of my life, that's where I am. It was wonderful, to say the least. Yeah, and it was powerful. It was fascinating. It really was.
So that news commentary actually spun off of an article in the Triumph magazine.
Yeah, I forgot.
So the Triumph magazine asked him to do a story. And so
out of nowhere,
he did the story. And then within about 2 or 3 months later, our church administrator reached out to our pastor with this email from Channel 3 about wanting to do an article on him on the news. So it is being seen that he has made a complete 360, and he's out here trying to make the same difference with those that may be battling the same thing.
And you're spreading the good news. Bringing folks along with you. Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. So important.
What it's all about.
Yeah. And we'll continue this conversation. What's our next slide coming up? You all have more to tell. Yes.
This was in 2021.
Yes.
We were ordained as deacon and deaconess. That's our pastor and first lady in the back. Just to give you a little history about our pastor, we all went to school together. Our pastor is a couple years younger than us, so we all used to kick it together and everything. And
your pastor's name? What is their name?
Monroe Johnson. And his first lady is Tamiko Johnson.
Okay.
And when Gene and I got together, I was attending Abundant Grace Fellowship, and he found out that Pastor Johnson we call him PJ, had a church. So he came home and he said, "Hey, Monty got a church." I was like, "Go ahead, Monty don't have no church." And so I went, and that's where it was. That's where it really started with us going to church. And then after we got married, I moved from my church over to this church. So we've been at this church since I joined in 2016, but we started going in like 2014. Around 2014.
Somewhere in here.
I just wanted.
Might have been 2013.
I want to chime in this note that Mel, Gwen, and Tina, the people, posted in the chat. Awesome reunion and recovery. God bless you both and your family. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, thank you. And continue this conversation about your, commitment to your church. What's our next slide? Yes.
Uh-oh.
That's Bible study.
I'm glad Dutton didn't put that one on there. How did you find that?
I gave him that picture.
Well,
I just didn't give him the video. But this was our pastor.
I thought this was the video. I got nervous. My heart started beating fast.
well, we won't witness that.
I thought it was the video.
No. So this picture, our pastor pushes us to continue to uplift the kingdom. So he challenges us to do Bible studies. And so this particular Bible study might have been
the first Bible study.
Yeah, might have been a year after your sobriety.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm trying to remember what the subject was. I think it was agreement. I was talking about the power of agreement, I think. And the scriptures came from the scriptures were about the Tower of Babel. I can't remember what chapter and verse.
Okay.
But I think I'm a good public speaker, so I wasn't nervous. It's just the part of quoting that actual scripture and sharing it. You have to commit it to memory, and sometimes
I think it was your testimony.
I don't think this one was it because I got
Is this your first? Was this the first time?
First time teaching Bible study. I believe it was the second time. I think. I'm not sure. Don't get me to lie. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He'll call, he'll text you. Because everybody's always on alert. Like, cause he'll text you, be like, okay, you got Bible study this week.
Yeah. You'll get an assignment like Sunday after church. He'll say, okay, you're doing Bible study. You're doing this prayer call. He'll start assigning people stuff for the next week. And
I that's a lot of why we are where we are today. I mean, where we are right now, spiritually, because he pushes and
you don't get to be a spectator. You got to participate.
Very good. Very good. I think there's another photo that is, yes.
So this is him again. He went through On One Accord Bible Institute.
Chaplain internship program.
And so he had them come and speak. And so we signed up for the chaplain internship program. It's a 2-year program.
It was hard.
Very hard. A lot of writing and reading.
Time consuming.
We met every Thursday from 6 to 10, 6 to 9, something like that. And then every Saturday morning. I did have the honor of teaching one of the classes. I taught Black theology on Saturday mornings. And I don't know where that even came from. It was a year into the class and they asked me to teach Black theology. So
that's because she was so impressive and she was so eloquent that they decided to use her to teach one of the courses.
Yeah, and it was a very good, a great topic. So we received our certifications in
2021,
22, or I forgot the year, but
it's right there on the degree, in the certificate.
This during pandemic.
Yes, during the pandemic.
See our I think I want to say it was 2021. Yeah. So we are ordained to marry. We can perform marriages. We can perform funerals, and we can go into the hospital and pray over the sick and shut in. So that was that, and that's all through him as well.
Nice. And it seems that once you came together, everything you do is about the two of you doing this together. And
something.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if a lot of people, a lot of married couples that we know, our friends from Shaker, always talk about us and say how we are a power couple and how they're watching us and how they watch how we move. Because like Gene said, when we were out here and we were drinking and he was drinking and so on and so forth, our phone always rung from Thursday to Sunday. That was our window. Thursday to Sunday, we knew we had something to do. And once he got sober, our phone stopped ringing. So we would sit in the house and call each other.
Okay.
So just a little humor. So
you know what is true though? We would send each other text messages.
Like, what you doing? So but that, that was, everybody comes to your life for a season and a reason. So those that were for us are still with us. And those that were not for us have gone on to another season, but they've left us.
That's right.
So, and that's okay.
That's right.
But I think it's opened up more doors for us. God has truly blessed us. I always say, if I didn't have my mother's prayers and my grandmother's prayers and the other village people that prayed for me,
or your husband's prayer,
where I'm talking about from the beginning, you was praying for me at 8.
I was praying on you at 8.
So, but I was always saying that their prayers have really gotten me through a lot. They always say, you always hear when they say your mother's prayers or your grandmother's prayers. And I honestly can say that my mother's prayers, and she still prays for me today. Because if I tell her I'm going out of town, she'd be like, okay, I'm about to start praying. And so when I call her, she was like, oh yeah, God answered the prayers. So you just gotta love my mother. If you've never met my mother, you gotta love my mother. You gotta meet her and love her because she's just the sweetest little angel you got.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it's just, it's really brought us closer. And it has also God has also opened up doors for us to continue to lift his kingdom up. Our dog is trying to get in the
I
camera.
see. Well, he's on camera. That's fine. That's fine.
So
And also one of the things that I, learned from you beyond, what you're doing with your church and everything. And I had said even that you started off in Shaker, went through schools in Full Circle because you don't live in Shaker right now.
nope, we live in
Really
Warrenville.
kind of sort of do.
We're just
Right.
a
That
few
was
steps
about,
away.
Listen, we
yes,
still paying Shaker taxes. We live
right.
in
Yes, right on Lee Road. Yes,
Shaker.
sure.
Oh yeah. I did. I came back home. Yep. So this it's not completely done yet.
Mhm.
It's one of the signs. I have my home health agency upstairs. It's called Elite Home Health Services. I'm waiting for them to finish some tuck pointing up so I can hang my illuminated sign. And then myself and a business partner have Superior Training Academy, where we train CPR, first aid, home health aid, STNAs, phlebotomy, and some other courses, med passing for DODD. And so my husband's a realtor, so he found the building. We purchased it in October. I moved in November, and we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting as soon as I can get my sign hung up for my home health agency. And when I was going through the process to get my approval from the city, and I had to go meet before the city council, and I was just telling them that I came back home because that's still my home. That area is still my home, will always be my home. And it's near and dear to my heart. So I felt like what this building was putting me back at where my roots began.
Something that is
You
just
got some other programs coming up associated with real estate that will also be located in the facility once we get the okay
oh, nice.
from
Okay,
the city. Yeah.
that's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah.
And Lee Road is getting a lot of attention these days. I mean,
It
there's
is. Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're trying to do a lot, and so I'm trying to help them.
well, thank you. Thank you. And I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, when did this sign go up? Because I just thought I saw the sign this was the home
Hard
renovation.
decor.
Yeah.
This sign went up probably about a month.
Yeah, fairly recent.
About a month or
Okay.
so ago.
It's not old at all.
Yeah.
It's fairly within
the last 30
45
days.
weeks.
Yeah.
That is just, I don't even want to talk about just what an accomplishment that is, but I mean, and the nature of your business and your training and continuing to care for people. I mean, how I can just think back in my earlier life where nothing like your business existed. People were just kind of on their own and just trying to figure out, what do we do? And so many people take care of their families, not necessarily elders, but in all different kinds of ways.
Right.
And so many young people also understand that that's their gift. So I'm sure that many
That
people
came from my mother because I have two brothers who are developmentally disabled, and just seeing her care for both of them every day. And I would help her, and I would go to the different events that they had at their adult day centers or at their schools at the time. Mercer, one of my brothers went to Mercer when they started the special needs classroom. I think Mercer was the first school that started it. And so just being active and seeing her do all that, that's what that was my calling. That's the gift that God gave me, to be a helper, to be a server. So I started the agency back in 2014. I did it as an independent, which means I was doing all the work, going into the homes. And then in 2019, right at the start of COVID, I started the agency hiring people. I got approved by the Medicaid, the state rather, to take different insurances, Medicaid and some other insurances. And that's when, I actually thought it started at the beginning of COVID. And I was like, oh Lord, you got me opening this or starting this agency and hiring people at the beginning of COVID. But when I tell you guys showed up and showed out, he showed up and showed out, because while other agencies were closing, this guy's agency here, Elite Home Health Services, was going straight up, and I haven't looked back one time. So
90-degree turn of it, just turned and went straight up.
yeah, so
All
I praise
throughout.
God. It's all God. God gave me the vision, and I'm just executing His vision.
But I mean, you all are doing it in a way that many people would not be able to. I mean, some people may have a thought or even a vision, but not be able to put one foot in front of the other. And then who knows? I mean, you all are young. I mean,
It's very difficult to execute.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Execution is critical.
Absolutely.
It's difficult. It takes skill.
Mm-hmm.
It takes perseverance. It takes consistency. It's a challenge. You're right.
It's definitely a challenge, because you're not only managing you weren't, before I was managing myself. So now I have a staff of 30 that I manage. So it's
People management.
it's, so I think I get the respect of my team members, because I don't call them employees. I call them team members, because we're all in this together. I consider myself more as a coach. I'm not a dictatorship person. So I think, but I think in the beginning, even now, I get out, I wear scrubs to work every day. And if someone calls off and the client really needs the help, I'll go out, or the office will go out, just to, give them a couple hours so that they're okay. But when they saw me out, or they asked me like, where you going? I'm like, I got to go out to a client. And they were like, you go out to the clients? And I said, yeah, I gotta work too, if need be. So I think that's where they really, where I really earned their respect, because the other company they said that they came from, they weren't going out. The client didn't, if the aide called off, that was just it.
Yeah.
I also I do a lot of incentives. We always do an end of the year party. And it's not just the end of the year party in the building. We go out. So this past year we went to the candle making spot in Woodmere. What was that? At Pinecrest. And then the year before that, we were at Cooper's Hawk in one of their little private rooms. So I try and do something big at the end of the year for them, just to show their appreciation. Show my appreciation rather. And then I do different incentives where I give them at our quarterly meetings. I'll give out gift cards to all of them. Or, and then somebody else might get an additional gift card for having perfect attendance or something like that. So
it's called servant leadership, and a leader versus a servant leader. A servant leader is active. A servant leader will get down entry level and get down in the trenches.
Yes.
Right. Whereas the boss is pointing the finger and saying, go do it. So, the best type of management or the best type of leadership is servant leadership. And communication is also critical. The language you use with your team members. If you call them employees, then they'll be an employee. But if you call them team members, they feel like they belong to something.
Your employees, there'll be different ones next year.
Exactly. It'll be a revolving door.
I ask their, and I take their input. So if it's something that they think can be done better, I take their ideas, and we implement them. So they have bonuses if they bring referrals, and the referrals last 90 days, they get a bonus. So I just think it's important to be on the same playing field as all of them. Now, we do have fun, but I do also let them know that this is a business. So you can't just do what you want to do. But, when you go out and represent, you're representing the company just like it's your own company.
Yes. My goodness. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Major. And here
this picture, we were in Aruba, and one of our friends that was in one of the other slide with us at the table, they were renewing their 5th anniversary, their vows for their 5th anniversary. So we actually did the vow renewal.
Oh, okay, okay, yes, you're able to do that now.
Yeah, so
And
this was a
so,
couple years ago, I think, when they
so
had their vow renewal.
you making plans for 2026?
We are gonna do a vow renewal, I believe. I'm just not sure where. We've been talking about it.
A
So that'll
destination.
be 10 years. It'll
Somewhere.
definitely be destination, yes.
Yes, yes.
Only reason why we had a wedding, because I had a big wedding when I got married, and when he first got married, he didn't have a big wedding. And so I was telling him, no, let's not do a big wedding, but I didn't want to take that from him for not having a big wedding. But after
In retrospect, we could have done a destination
yeah,
wedding.
so after he had to pull that wallet out,
Play the bundle.
so yeah, but
All in due time. Will you look forward to that in 2026?
yeah,
I have a couple of comments. I have Mel, Gwen, and Tina to love it. What an awesome blessing. Does anybody have anything they want to chime in? Is this our last slide, John?
Picture of it.
Where are we? Okay.
So they can add them.
Anybody want to chime in? Post something? Oh, Quintella says, I've enjoyed your stories. Thank you both for being such caring people. God bless you both and all
Thank
that
you.
you do. Yes, yes. And she speaks for all of us. Anybody else want to chime in? Ooh. Wow. I know you, Amy, because I know your daughter and my granddaughter are good friends and however else it is that we know each other. But doing Witness to History, I mean, just today, even I've learned so much more about the enormity, of who you and Jean are and how much you're giving to so many people, And it really is a blessing that your business is right here in Shaker Heights. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm back at home. I was renting in Cleveland Heights for 5 years. God had me I'm gonna tell you this story. It's sort of ironic, sort of funny, but it's not. I started renting in the Rockefeller Point building at Lee Boulevard in Mayfield. And after a year or two, I said, okay, Lord, I need a bigger space. I'm growing. I need a bigger place. I need a conference room. I need 2 offices, at least 2 or 3 offices, a separate file room, a reception area, and then an admin area up front. So he said, okay. So I was looking at places and nothing was what I wanted. But one day I was walking, so the training academy was in the same building, but it was down another hall. And I was walking and I saw where one of the other businesses had moved out. So I asked the leasing office, hey, can I see this unit? Like what's in this unit? So when I went in there, it had everything I asked God for. It had the conference room, it had the reception area, it had the 2 offices, it had the file room, everything I asked God for. And I said, Lord, I was trying to get out of this building, but you're keeping me here in this building. So I said, okay. But my understanding was that everybody that came into my office always said, oh my God, it's so anointed in here. So it's peace when we come in here. When you walk down the hall, you hear all this noise and everything. But when you come in my office, it's always peaceful. It smells good. I always have gospel music playing. And they just feel different walking in. So I said, well, that is the reason why God kept me here to show that it is, because the building had all walks of life in it. She just let anybody in there. She was just trying to collect some money. So it's all walks of life in there. So when last year, I'm like, okay, Lord, it's time for me to move. It's time for me to move now, because it was just getting ridiculous. Elevator was breaking down. So walking up the flights of steps really wasn't bad. It was only 3 flights of steps, but part of the stairway was like a dead zone. There was no camera. So with all the different walks of life she had in there, it was a little frightening to be walking out by yourself or coming in by yourself, because you never knew who might be hiding in the stairwell. So that sort of had me cut my hours, because like I said, I was concerned for myself and the well-being of my staff coming in and out.
Get my wife out.
And so we started looking, and that's where I ended up back home. So
That sounds
he had a plan already made. He was just getting me together and making sure that I was ready to execute on the next plan that he had for me.
He is waiting for you. Waiting for you. I want to read this message from the Hoopers. Congrats on your successes and the ways you're giving back. God bless you going forward from my mom and me. That's Sam Hooper and Mrs. Hooper.
Thank you.
Always with us. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so the Hoopers are family friends. I've known them since I was little.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Pennington between Hampstead and Scottsdale, and they were between Hampstead and Rife Court. So I've known them forever.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. God bless the Hoopers. Yes, Mrs. Hooper was our first guest on Witness to History in July of 2020. Here we are, folks. What a wonderful evening. Anybody else want to chime in?
I'm trying to send this
Me?
picture that Rocky wants John to put
Okay.
up real fast.
Okay, that's fine.
You can add it to the slide or whatever.
In the meantime, if anybody knows of anyone who would like to interview on Witness to History, actually, we're looking for people coming fall. And I'll, stay tuned for what's going to happen in July, since that's our, 5th anniversary month. But we're going to be planning something a little bit bigger than just one evening, to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Witness to History, because we know that the Moreland community is getting ready to also celebrate the 10th anniversary of our Moreland network. It's, and that celebration is coming up in September. But I'm always looking for guests for Witness to History. And my number and my email address is here. If you have, neighbors who you might talk to and, encourage them to tell their story, it's always wonderful for us to, hear from our neighbors. So is it a video?
No, it's just he wanted to show his
Okay.
It's a digital copy of my business card.
Oh, okay.
All it is. And
Okay.
by the way, you have a classic PBS voice. Your voice sounds like, it reminds me of what's that show that used to come on NPR. You have an NPR voice. I can't remember the show I used to listen to on NPR.
Well,
But your voice,
that's
right in with NPR. You have that voice. You got something special.
Oh boy, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
some of you may know my daughters who sing, and they say, "Do you sing?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's not a singing voice. It's not a singing voice."
Well, it's a talking one. I can hear it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you all for being. Oh, here we are. Oh, nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Dutton.
Smart. So,
but I know you shared about I can't even think of your granddaughter name right now. And I just
Amira.
Amira. So Amira and my daughter became friends. Miata and Mariama, we went to school together, Moreland through junior high and high school. But Miata's daughter Amira and my daughter are best friends, but they became friends at Lomond, first grade, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
And I never, they was always talking about each other. We never knew which parents was who, or whose parents, we didn't know that we knew the parents. And they, I think Amira had come to the house one day and was talking, and I was like, who's your mother? Like, I need to call and make sure it's okay for you to be over here, because I'm old school. And it ended up being Miata, and I was like, look how this is. We were friends. Now our kids are friends, and they're still friends to this day. So I always told my kids growing up, if you have friends after college that you still talk to, then those are your true friends. So,
and I mean, and I know it's really a blessing for me as a grandmother. Oh, Amira's best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, because I perhaps was the one who was the driver, you know, say, can you pick Amira and her friends up? You know, I was like, sure. Sure.
Yeah. So
So
I
it's
just
all,
thought that was sort of funny because a lot of my daughter's friends parents I went to school with.
yeah.
So it's just sort of funny when we look back and be like, oh, our friends are good friends. So Shaker did something right.
Yes, Shaker did.
That was our village.
Yes, it is. And it continues on and
Yes.
on. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you, Amy.
You're
And
welcome.
what a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Thank you for having us.
You'll be hearing from us. There's so much to share and so much that you give. And, you know, it's just a blessing that you're, you know, a part of our Moreland family. Yeah.
Yes. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yes. Well, thank you all for being with us this evening. Thank you all for being with us. And stay tuned about July, you know, mark July 13th on your calendar. That's the date that we have. But, you know, we'll let you know what's coming up. And like I said, you know, anybody who you may know, or if you're interested in being our guest on Witness History, please just let me know. We're going to do this. John, my partner, John, we never talk about the end. You know, yes. Thank you all. And have a wonderful evening. All right.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.